Hey there summoners, and welcome to my top 10 worst basic abilities video. Whoa, wait a minute. What, bad abilities? I thought all the basic abilities are pretty good. Anyhow, there are still some basic abilities that has some tweaks I do not like, as I personally think that every ability in this list are good, but due to some facts blown together, these I had to nominate as the worst ones from the bunch. Regardless, my name is Hepodix and hope you enjoy, and seriously don't get too butthurt by my opinions, it is just a video. Kogmaw and his Caustic Spittle ability is a good mix of attack speed and burst output thrown together, and even reduces some magic resist and armor during the process. It all sounds good, but Kogmaw is designed as a ranged artillery when you look at his other abilities, which ranges are far superior compared to Caustic Spittle. That will force him to go closer to the target and makes Kogmaw even more vulnerable during the process. So pretty okay ability nevertheless, but it just feels a bit boring to use. Ashe and her first ability, Frostshot, is definitely a classic one that grants you slow on volley and for the auto attacks once toggled on, but you might guess what I'm after with this one. The problem for me personally is that it doesn't technically act as an active ability that shoots a projectile or does something more visual than just put some eyes on your arrows. And it's just weird to argue about ability that isn't really that bad, but really it just feels too straightforward to use and I really can't help myself with this one. Victor's second ability, Gravity Field, is a good CC tool as it first slows the enemies and if they stay too long it's a stun for them. As it all sounds delicious together, I think setuping this whole thing comes up very situational as it can be hard to stun sometimes and may require some CC beforehand because of the delay it has. Also, the moderately high cooldown doesn't help much, as you would maybe think of buying the gravity augment, which helps out the range issue a lot, but you really cannot afford that over the death augment, can you? Urgot's Terror Capacitor gives you a shield upon active and also grants slow for your auto attacks and Acid Hunter ability as well. That's not a bad thing to have a sustain point on Urgot, but it just runs on pretty high cooldown and that shield can break out easily, especially early on. And why in the mother of god does the bonus shield amount scale from ability power? No! Zilean and his second ability, Rewind, is a weird one as you really cannot get simpler description than this thing is. I understand the potential of using double time bomb or time warp as Rewind makes you repeat and abuse your other abilities more often, which is nice. But what about if Rewind will be completely revamped as an ability instead of a booster? Or I believe he can't, as the whole point of Rewind is the clock behind his back, where he turns the clock hand and goes back in time for 10 seconds, that only affects his other abilities. Anyhow, I don't get it and never will do. Kassadin's second ability, Netherblade, is a decent tool for him as you gain some mana when auto-attacking, as well as during active it gives you some bonus magic damage to your attacks, and even grants you one stack for force pulls with the low mana cost put together. The thing I don't like about Netherblade is that it's not really that noticeable and useful compared to Kassadin's other abilities that I think are far superior, and that's why it gets left in the dust. Annie's third ability, Molten Shield, is really a decent sustain tool to have as it gives you armor and magic resist and deals some magic damage to enemies if they auto attack you. Molten Shield also gives one stack to the Pyromania passive and the mana cost is extremely low too. The little downfall in my opinion is that you cannot give the shield to your ally, especially nowadays when Annie is very popular support. It will be so fantastic option to give the shield to other players. Vayne and her second ability, Denting Bloats, is good in both jungling and during fights throughout the game, but you most likely guess what is the flaw here for me personally. Well, you just level it up and that's it. The fact that Denting Bloats doesn't have any sort of active function kinda annoys me, even though it is good with her third ability, Excessive Force, combined together. Twisted Fate's Stacked Deck is really another one of those passive only abilities and are therefore welcome to my list. That boosted auto attack is really sweet bonus, and TF even gains attack speed in addition, which are okay stats, but it still feels empty without any action function thrown together. Malphite and his second ability, Brutal Strikes, gives your auto attacks a decent splash damage, and during active, Malphite gets a percentage amount of armor and attack damage for short duration, which is okay when it's all put together. There are a couple of things that bugs me though. First of all, why does Brutal Strikes give you bonus attack damage instead of magic resistance or ability power? That is kind of silly if you ask me, but the splash value is based on your attack damage ratio, so yeah, whatever. So the passive and active are decent when combined, but I just don't really like the design value at all, and therefore I think it's the worst basic ability in League of Legends. Alright, so that's about it for this time, hope you enjoyed. Please rate, comment and subscribe if you haven't yet for my weekly League of Legends and other gaming videos to come. That's about it for this time, thanks for watching, my name is Hepodix and have a nice day.